Well, No Shave November is all about raising awareness for men's health and wellness. That's why I decided it was time for me to make a very important visit with my doctor. And because when it comes to prostate cancer, testicular cancer, it's better to be proactive than reactive. And that's why you should book your physical today. So joining me this morning to talk about the importance of just doctor's visits are Dr. James Peabody from Henry Ford Health and Judge Dave Perkins, probate court judge, who is going to hang out with us, and we'll talk about some of these issues and how Judge Perkins is actually fighting prostate cancer right now. So thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate it. You know, this is No Shave November, as you guys know, and we really appreciate you guys coming out. And, you know, Dr. Perkins, you sharing, or Dr. Perkins, Judge Perkins, I just promoted you to doctorship too, look at you. We appreciate you sharing your story. So a couple things we want to talk about. And Dr. Peabody, we know that a lot of black men are more at risk for certain types of cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, because they won't come to the doctor. So one of the biggest fears is to have an actual physical digital rectum exam. Are there other ways that prostate cancer can be checked for? So you're a urologist, and you can kind of give us more information about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Most screening for prostate cancer these days is done with a simple blood test called the PSA test, or prostate-specific antigen test. It's a simple, inexpensive test, and it can stratify your risk about whether you're more likely or less likely to have a prostate cancer, and then further evaluation can be done if that's indicated.
Okay, so basically someone can come in and they can do a blood test, a PSA test, and if it shows something, they can come back and then, you know, further test. They may have to do the digital rectal, you may have to do the digital rectal examination, but initially they can come in and just get their blood screened.
Yep, it's a very simple thing to do.
Okay, because a lot of men are intimidated by that, as you well know.
Yeah, the rectal exam is not the most comfortable or pleasant thing to go through. It's not terrible, but most men would prefer to avoid it. And while it's still an important part of the screening, the initial screening these days is mostly done with the blood test.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing that, because that helps out a lot. And Judge Perkins, we've heard a lot about how black men are afraid to go to the doctor because of the fear of what may be found. When you went to the doctor, was it something that triggered you going, or was this an annual visit that you just, you know, wanted to just a checkup that you wanted to go in?
Well, you know, I was blessed. I had a physician who routinely, part of my annual physical, would do it, and there was an upward trend, and that's one of the things you really have to be aware of. How are you trending? And unfortunately, for me, you know, I was trending upward, but fortunately, you know, you're able to catch things and address those issues.
And when those issues were addressed, I mean, obviously initially, you know, nobody wants to hear the words, you have cancer. Was it just an initial thing that you were told that, or how, you know, how did that process work?
Well, actually for me, it was a series of things. When they did the blood work and they said, you know, your numbers have gone up, and I also had the digital exam, and you can have a digital exam and they can feel your prostate is enlarged, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have cancer. But as the numbers escalate, there is a correlation, and so you want to make sure. And then one of the next steps was a biopsy. But before that, I asked the physician at that time, could I have a MRI, which isn't the standard right now, but it is a very good diagnostic tool to help determine where in the prostate the cancer may be, if it's cancer. And so I advocated for myself to have the MRI, which then led to the biopsy. And then once we got the biopsy back, then you hear the words, you have cancer, you know, and nobody really wants to hear those words. Okay.
Yeah. So as we kind of wrap this up, just really quickly, what would you say to somebody who's afraid to come to the doctor, particularly African-American men? I'll start with you, Judge Perkins. How do we get them here, you know, really quickly?
By segments like this, we have to get to the point where we aren't afraid, and we have to embrace this and get the word out and say, and not be afraid to have the conversations. We have to get beyond the time where cancer is an ugly word. You know, it's an ugly disease, but we can't be afraid of it. And go to the doctor yesterday.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And prostate cancer is detectable early with the screening efforts and is a curable disease when it's caught early.
Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Judge Perkins, you know, your courage to come and share this is appreciated for everybody that needs to hear it. And all the good work that you do, Doc, we appreciate you as well.
I
So thank you
appreciate
guys for
Dr.
being here.
Peabody.
Yeah, thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
Judge Perkins.
All right. Appreciate all of you all. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.